start recording. So you can see that I have a lot to talk about. Sometimes when I start to get to talking about things, I start clicking and going into different directions. So if anyone needs clarification or more information, please send me a chat. And my dinger's gone off because people are joining, so I'm going to turn my thing down a little bit. Well, I'm excited because Canvas is a much better user-friendly system than Blackboard was. But the Gretchen has had a lot of work to make things build things similar to the way that we had it in Blackboard, so that it's not completely different. And but I think you're going to like the way you're going to be using Canvas. One thing I do want to explain, and I did send an email about this a little while ago, is why we keep the course materials in Canvas in separate systems. Part of it is historical purposes. We used to make DVDs of our online course materials, so students always had a copy to refer to when they were done with the class. We got away from doing DVDs just because the technology was changing, and it just got to DVDs weren't functional with the web browsers that we asked them to use them with. So but what we do now is you can download PDFs of each of the lessons in your courses if you're interested in a static copy. Otherwise, once you've taken a course, you can always go back to that course. We never actually take you out of the authentication list, so you can always go back to a course that you've taken previously and check and refer to it as much as you need to. So those are the reasons why, we keep them in separate systems, because Canvas sections will close very shortly after a semester ends, which is why the only thing we keep in Canvas are the things that you need to submit for your graded work. So with that, I will go ahead and stop sharing the agenda page, but I will refer to it. And I'm going to switch to my web browser so that I can go start the demonstration. So I'm going to switch sharing. And again, thank you for your patience with me, because Canvas is, Zoom is new to me. So now I have to move some boxes that were blocking. I have to move these so you're not seeing our Zoom chat and stuff like that. So, okay, so one thing, I mentioned that there are several different places that you can log into Canvas. If this is the main Iowa State website, and you'll always find a sign-on link here. And Canvas is one of the choices in the drop-down box. So if you click that, you'll see that I'm already logged in. Usually what you will get is a login screen, but I'm already logged in because most times when I'm trying to log into something and people are watching, it takes me 4 tries, and I don't want you guys to have to watch that today. What you will find when you first log into Canvas is your dashboard. Now mine has these wonderful rainbow colors because I've been added to all the classes so I can help out as needed. But you should find your class tiles here if you haven't already. Now you'll see on the dashboard there are some nice little notification thing, nice little upcoming to-dos and coming up on the right-hand side. So that is a nice feature of Canvas where it kind of tells you what you need to expect, or if you need a quick reminder of what you need to do for certain classes. Now, so this on the dashboard, it will talk about it will refer to all the classes that you're taking. So you got to kind of watch the section numbers and if you're taking more than one class.
Can I interject for just a second?
Yep.
For the students that are watching, the video panel may be over the right-hand part of Canvas that Dawn is currently talking about. So you just need to drag your own video panel to the left a little bit, and you'll see the to-do list and coming up list that she mentioned.
Oh, is it not showing?
Oh, no, it is. Each individual user signed into Zoom here
Mm-hmm.
has the video panel over on the right, and we all need to shift it just a little bit to see the section right underneath there.
Thank you, Gretchen.
You're welcome.
Yeah, because I have no idea what you're looking at. I was hoping you'd see the whole screen. So is there's something, a setting that I can have to optimize? I have the optimize share for full screen.
Yep, you're okay.
Okay.
It looks good.
Great. Okay, so one of the most important things you can do in order to get class message, get class messages and announcements and get notifications if someone has posted to your discussion group, is go to the notifications. Wait. So nope, go to your account. Go to the notifications menu. So you're going to see a chart here. Depending on how you like to get messages and stuff, some people just want to keep it contained and look in Canvas and log in every time. But if you like to get notifications of things to your email, and this is another important reminder that you need to be watching or using your SciMail regularly or forwarding it, because everything that happens in Canvas and will go to your SciMail address. So here's a big chart that asks you if you want to be reminded of things. On the right hand side, the check mark is, like you said, notify me right away. The clock is a send a daily summary. The calendar is a weekly summary, and the X is don't remind me about that item. So you need to go through and choose the things that you want to be sent reminders for. I highly recommend announcements. Anytime someone, I like this feature. If you've had something graded, you'll be notified. And all these, there are a lot of choices. So I highly recommend going to the discussions and getting notifications right away for any discussions that are going on or any discussion posts for any groups that you're involved in. So it's your choice for the other items. Some of these, again, this is for all students on the Iowa State campus. So scheduling is probably not going to be pertain to you for very much. Again, it's really important that you go through this and choose what you want to be notified for. Does anybody have any questions so far? Excuse me. Okay, so I want to go back to the dashboard. You're going to see 3 icons at the bottom of each of your class tile. And these looks very similar to the apps on your phones where you're getting messages and things like that. So as you can see on mine, and probably most likely yours if you haven't clicked on them yet, you'll see the number of messages or announcements or items that need your attention. So so if you just drag your mouse but not click, you'll see what they pertain to. The bullhorn is announcements. The text with the paper and the pencil are assignments, and the chat box are the discussions. And they're usually in the same spot on each tile. If you'd rather not do the tile list, you can always go to the courses. Sorry, the courses tab, and you will get just a plain list of what you have. If you belong to any discussion groups in your different classes, and this will be different per class, this is where you can go. It's listed by class and by discussion group. And here is a link to the calendar. You can access the calendar in a couple of different ways, and so I'll be talking about that again. So for the calendar, again, I'm listed in a lot of classes, so you can see that they're color coded. On the right hand side is the key, and this is where you can get a visual of what you're supposed to be doing and when it's due. You can change the view to a weekly basis. I had it on the month. I actually don't. This is the agenda view, and I'm not exactly sure what that's for. Oh, it's in list form, like chronological. So I'm a month kind of person, so I go back to that. You'll see at the lower right side, it's called a calendar feed. So this, you can take this, it will give you a URL to copy. So I'm gonna copy that. And I'm doing Control C for copy. And you can go to your calendar program and on your phone, or I use Hotmail, so this is my Hotmail calendar. So all you have to do is add calendar. So you'll have to find your own settings if you use Gmail or Yahoo or any whatever calendar program you use. And here I have from the internet, and then all it does is you just copy that URL in there and save it. You do have the option to take it back out, and that's what I'm going to do because this is going to be way too full for my calendar. And so it'll update, but I'm not sure. Oh, here. This one, you can actually click on the one that you want to look at. So it's really simple and very easy. And you can watch for your due dates on your phone, on your calendar, wherever you have it. So I want to talk about the inbox a little bit. I'm kind of going down the left side menu first. The inbox is when it's not exactly, this is a direct message from your instructor. You can see, like I said, I'm listed as a student in Agronomy 501, so this is what you would see if you were logged in. So Dr. Westgate has sent a message, and you just open it, and you can see, and I believe that when, before I opened this message, when I went back to my class tile, there was, you know, the red dot with the number 1 in it that showed me that I had a message. So this is where you're going to find messages. So, and most of the things, and Gretchen can tell me if I'm wrong or not, the things on the red left side menu pertain to all courses in a general manner, unless they're specifically, like this one is sent from an instructor for a specific course. But if you were sent multiple messages, then they would all be listed here. We don't worry too much about ARC. That's a video handling system. And Commons, I think you can go to for looking up items. But those things aren't really used by our courses very much. So, anybody got any questions? I'm watching the chat, so I'm going to keep going. So I'm going back to my dashboard, and I'm going to be using Agronomy 501 as an example. So this is the next item on my agenda where I talk about the course homepage. For the dashboard, the dashboard is for all courses, and that will be different than the dashboard in course materials, and I'll explain that when I get to that point. So this is your homepage for your class. Now, you're going to see people immediately want to go straight to the clicky things and go to their course materials or questions or these kinds of things, but we really ask you to go through the 1, 2, 3 steps to get started, and read all instructions before you get started. Now, you're going to find on the right side, again, you're going to see information pertaining to your course. What are you going to do, the groups that you're in, and what's coming up. So those are nice little reminders. On the right-hand side, you can view your course. This is called View Course Stream, and I've been doing some experimenting with this morning. Basically, it's the most recent activity. You can have whatever conversations, and the things that are going on. And you can open them and you can show more or you can show less. So that's basically what's happening at the time. I'm going to go back to the home page. There are other ways to find out in chronological order what you're doing, and I'm going to show you those now. The syllabus is one thing where you can see that you will, everything is in chronological order by date. So anything that's on the calendar is also listed here by date. So you can see that and the due dates are on the right side. And there is a difference between the syllabus and, where was that? And the modules. Modules are very similar to what we used to have in Blackboard. When you open up a folder, you would find everything that you needed for a particular lesson. So modules are actually set up per lesson rather than by the calendar. Even though we've said it, most of them would be in the same order. They're just grouped per lesson. So if you go to your modules, and Gretchen's been very consistent in the course materials and also calling those modules so that you know that this is what they're referring to, and everything's grouped per lesson. Does anybody have any questions? All right. I want to go to, let's see. There's so much to look at, right? So here again, our announcements. You're going to see that this is an announcement that was sent by Gretchen's group, just to let you know where you can, what to do with if you have technical issues. Now it is different than the message that you were sent from Dr. Westgate, and again, you have to go to the inbox for that. So I want to talk a little bit about, so we've colored calendar, announcements, and messages. Next thing I want to talk about are your groups and the things that you need to do to submit for your classes. So I'm going to go back to the modules because that's just the way I prefer. If I were taking a class, this is what I would prefer, because that way you know everything you need to do for a particular lesson. Here's discussion topic 1.1. So if you open that, there is the text of the discussion topic. It will exactly match what you find in the course materials. And you can see I was experimenting yesterday, and so I clicked reply, and I sent myself, I replied with a testing, and then I replied with that, and gave myself a high five for figuring it out. Now, when you click reply, you will see a text editor box open, and that it's very, it looks a lot like any other. There's a text editing box with a lot of tools in there that you can use to edit your text. Now, we still recommend that you draft your work in Word and save an extra copy. This is the first time the whole university is going live with Canvas. The system seems to be working really great right now, but I'm sure there will be times when the system is slow, or and very rarely does it happen, but the internet does quit every now and then. I think it maybe happens just a couple times a year, if that, but we don't want you to lose the work that you have. We don't want to say you spent 15 or 20 minutes typing an answer to the discussion topic question, and you go to click submit, because I don't see that there's a save on here. So it's not like you can save it as you go along before you submit. I believe you can maybe do that in your assignments, but not in discussions. So it's still a good idea to draft everything in Word. Don't do any fancy editing in Word, and then copy and paste it into your text editor here, and then use the tools within this text box in order to format it the way you want. Gretchen, I have a question about Oh, copy and paste. So do you have to use the Control C and Control V in order to paste into here?
In most instances, yeah.
Okay. So use your keypad or your whatever you call those. Control this. When I'm talking about your keystrokes rather than your like right mouse click, that kind of thing. That's what I'm talking about. For brand new students, and it's a good reminder for students, more experienced students as well. We always recommend that you post your original answer to the discussion topic question early in the week, so that your group members have time to read and reply. It's usually a requirement that you have your original post and then you read and reply to your group members up until the due date. So
and several instructors have added that into the points that they award for discussion topics now. So don't just cruise along. Make sure you know whether you have to post within so many days.
And I noticed that some of them have actually put that on the calendar as well, that say initial response to discussion topic is actually on the calendar. So you can see that within the discussion topic, you can see that you can see the name of the person who posted, and it says yesterday, but if you mouse over that, you can see exactly when it was submitted. So instructors do watch submissions, and it's okay. I mean, I'd rather have you post late than not at all if something happens to come up in your week. But these are date and time stamps, so instructors are aware of when you're making your posts. And they will notice if you wait until the day of the due date for your initial post. And that just makes it hard for your group members to respond and reply, and to have that interaction that this is supposed to help you with. So you can go, so I got to this discussion from the modules page. Again, so, and also here's a reflection, is there aren't any assignments in 501, but I'm thinking that submitting those is going to be a lot like this reflection. So reflections are just, they're called quizzes, but that's just the way they have to build this within the Canvas system. So I was in here, it says resume. I suppose if you first started, it would say start. Now, again, here is your text box to answer each question. And again, I would draft it in Word and copy and paste. It looks like here, once you fill it in, there's a question monitor up on the upper right side. I'm just going to say hello. And once I'm thinking, I don't know if there's a save button on here, but when you go to the next one, it does check mark that you did enter text in question 1. So I'm just going to put this as a test. And then when I click into question 3, I'll say hello again. Oops. And then up at the top, it'll see that you've answered all 3 questions. And the time it took in which you do it. Wow, they do a lot of analytics on this. This is pretty cool. So then I'm just going to submit my quiz. So that's, and I'm sure most of you have probably figured that out already. So I'm back to the modules again. In Agronomy 501, you don't have midterm and final exams. What you have is one exam question at the end of every lesson. And the exam question is not something that you can it's open book. You can go look at course materials, but the question is more of an application type question where you're going to have to think about how to answer the question using what you've learned. You can't just go through the course, go to course materials, copy a section out and use that as your answer. So again, I highly recommend using Word to do the exam questions as well. I think they're only available at a certain time in the lesson. It's not like you only have a certain number of days to complete it. In other courses, other types of assignments are going to be things that you can either answer questions in the text boxes like I showed you at the reflection, or other courses, it's okay to just upload a Word document of your answers, and there will be a tools that you can use to browse your computer to upload your document. So it's very similar to what you've done before, if not the same. Everybody's quiet, no questions? And again, I'm probably not telling you things you haven't already figured out, but it's nice to be able to make sure. So, there are other, if you want to, it just, like I said, it just depends on what you like to do. If you like the modules per lesson, that is great. Otherwise, the other things, any assignments will be listed, can be listed in their own list. Discussions will be listed in their own list. So it's all in how you would rather get things done or find what you need to do. I want to talk about discussions again for a moment. Pinned discussions are those that are general, and course questions and general discussion are also found on the home page. Course questions and general discussion are also found on the home page. So you can always, so whether you access it from the discussions list or from here, excuse me, you will see that you can access it from both sides. Sorry. Now, getting back to the notifications, if you want course questions, and the other one are for general class purposes. If you want to know what other students are asking, I would click the subscribe button. That way, you will get an email copy of a post by another student. So if everybody's got a question about an assignment, and multiple people are asking the same question, if they post it to course questions and you subscribe to it, then you will get a message. You will get email messages with the text of people's posts. So again, here's the discussion, just like I've been describing. So I'm going to post my reply and say if Gretchen was subscribing to this, she would get an email with the text of this message. Let's see. I was going something else about discussions. Subscribing is good. Again, and you will only get those if you go to your notifications and turn on the preference that you will get notified immediately. Or this one, maybe you would really want to just get a list, at a weekly list. So it's up to you. I want to talk about groups for a minute. So every class handles groups differently. In Agronomy 501, the main things you're graded on are discussions and exam questions. So for Agronomy 501, you will be randomly assigned to a discussion group every single lesson. In other courses, for instance, Agronomy 502 and Agronomy 503 and various others, you may get assigned to one group that you stay in for the whole semester. Some instructors, I think Agronomy 503, you'll switch groups mid-semester, so you're not with the same group of people all semester. It's just different per class. And make sure you read your course syllabus in the course materials so that you know how your discussions will be handled. So again, this is where on the left-hand side, you can say this is where your groups are. Within your class, you can click on people. So this is a list of all of your class members. Up here, if you go to the groups link, you'll see the groups that you are in. So that's another way to get to your group within this class. I don't see an option. Okay, so if you click on the name, you'll see the names of the people in your group.
It looks like it's showing all of the groups, and the ones that you're in have a visit link.
Oh, there you go. Ooh, interesting. Right.
Yeah, there we go.
First, there's a little padlock on the side, but it does it. So you're right. So if you want to get into your discussion, actually, to get into your discussion to post, you're going to have to go to the discussions page or your modules to get the direct link to your discussion when you want to submit your. Okay, so I need to go back to the home page. And then I'm going to go to modules. And then this is where your link is to submit, or you can get it from discussions. Now, when you go to people and you go to groups and you go to visit, this just shows you if there's been any activity, any messages or any posts or anything like that. So I don't believe you can actually get to your discussion forum from this section. Is that correct, Gretchen?
I believe so.
This is where it gets a little bit confusing. So as long as you stick to, again, I'm going back to the home page. As long as you stick to either the modules or the discussion links, I think you'll be fine. The people thing is a little bit kind of fuzzy as to what we're actually supposed to use it for, unless you just want to know who's in your class. I do have a question, Gretchen. Now, Dr. Westgate sent everybody a message, and I didn't get a chance to research that before I started today. Is there a space where you can send messages directly to other people or your groups?
I think you can do that from this page.
Okay.
If you mouse over one of those names, do you have any options?
Nope.
Or if you click on it?
I'm going to click on your name.
Sounds good.
It's thinking. This tells me everything about Gretchen. Says this is you're in like a gazillion places.
Sorry.
But it doesn't say where you can actually message somebody.
I will look into that.
So we will check on that, and I will let you guys know, because that was something that wasn't exactly clear about sending messages to each other. Let's see. Is everybody doing okay? I keep checking for chats. All right. So the last thing I wanted to talk about in Canvas is grades. So you can see I have it a number 1 next to my grading thing because I submitted that reflection, right? So you can see that I'm still waiting for a score out of 15 for that reflection that I submitted. You can see the blue dot. I'm pointing at it like you can see what I'm doing. On the left-hand side where it says less than 1 reflection, you can see the little airplane icon. And so if you mouse over that, it says instructor is working on grades. So that means that the instructor has been notified that I submitted something. So I'm thinking that there will be a different type. You'll actually have a score here when Dr. Westgate gives you a score for the reflection. So that's kind of nice. Where checking grades in Blackboard used to be, you'd have to go. I like the little circle reminders where it gets your attention, because that is just, people are just more attuned to that just because of the phones that they use and whatever. So any activity with grades, whether you submit or get a grade, you will be notified. So I really like that.
Okay, I have an answer for you about messaging a student.
Okay.
If you go back to the inbox.
Inbox?
Mhm. And you can filter by course up at the top.
Okay. I'll go to 501. Okay.
And then if you would click the link, the leaf over to the right.
Oh, new message. Oh, there you go. Okay. Great.
And once you click that, there we go. And then it filters by the students who are in the class. If you click on the book, there you go.
Okay, so you could do teacher, students. So then if you click students, oh, great. So then I'm going to send Gretchen a message.
I'm a teacher in there.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yep.
So I'll go to teachers. I'll just say, hi, Gretchen. Very nice, thank you.
You're welcome.
So now when Gretchen, you can't just do it in, you have to actually put something in the message box. All right, so then now Gretchen will have a notification that she has a new message. Great, that is cool. At least now we got that figured out. So she'll have something in her inbox. All right. Yeah, Gretchen, do you have anything else to add about Canvas?
I have just one more thing that I would like to point out on the grades page. If you can get back to that.
Yep.
Thanks.
You have to be within your class to get to the grades page, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Was that Nate that just asked that question? Nick, sorry. The message will go to my SciMail account if I have set my notifications.
Yep.
So that's why it's really important to go in and make sure those are specified.
Yep. That notifications page is super important.
Okay, so back to grades here then.
Oh, did you grade it?
I didn't. Sorry, I should have. But Dawn talked about getting a notification, A, that you've submitted, and B, if it's been graded. I also want to point out that you can put in a sort of what if grade.
Oh, yeah.
I think, Dawn, if you go and click on one of the items over on the score.
Okay.
And you can put in what you think you might get on the assignment. And that will give you kind of an idea of what your grade looks like.
So say you've gotten so many grades and you're thinking, oh man, I need to do a little bit better. And you can enter this, you can kind of play around to see. So say you got your first five exam questions in 501, for example. You've gotten maybe 350 points, and you know you need to do better on the next few in order to bump your grade, your overall points or score better. You can actually add grades into this. You can see up in the upper right hand side, it says this is not your official score, because what the instructor will do when they do give you a grade is override that. But then you can see on the right side, it kind of can help you calculate a projected grade based on performance. So that way you can, if you need to do that, then you can see how high or low you have to go on your next few things in order to get the grade that you're hoping for. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Let's see, Nick's got a question. How do we find grade feedback? Good question.
If you go to the course homepage.
Homepage?
Yes, please.
Okay.
All the way down at the bottom here.
My surveys?
Sorry, over on the right-hand side.
Oh, sorry.
You have your things
look at
that are coming
that.
up.
It says
and then
recent
you have feedback.
So if I click that open, I get a 0 out of 10, but it hasn't been graded.
Correct.
So if your instructor,
I'm getting there, but I'm working on my phone. Sorry.
that's okay. Gretchen is being my teacher right now. I can see on the right side, teachers and submitter will be notified. So you actually have an option to add a comment in when you submit. Now I'm assuming that maybe you will find your feedback here on the right hand side, but Gretchen is working on that. So you want me to? Going back to your submission also is not something that we really investigated it yet. And I'm wondering if when you get feedback, if there's going to be something here on the grades page too. Like there used to be little icons in Blackboard that said you had feedback. You know, we would like to think that we would be able to tell you everything up front. However, this is going to be a learning curve for everybody. And if you discover something that you think that we should pass on to other students that we have not yet passed on to you, it's really a great thing if you could share that with us, just so that we're all going to be learning this at the same time. During fall semester, there were a certain number of early adopters to Canvas who taught in Canvas as a test run, and they told us that they really liked Canvas and whatever, but they didn't actually share any tips and tricks. So those of us that are just starting now, we're learning as we go.
Dawn, can you refresh this page?
Yep. So I see a dot by there. I see the Gretchen gave me a score of 10 out of 10. Should I open the?
Yes.
I opened the attempt, and oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. So, in question 1, I said hello, and Gretchen responded by saying good morning.
So your feedback will appear in those chat bubbles on each individual question.
That's cool.
Or over on the right-hand side, if they provide feedback to everything rather than individual questions.
Okay, so then I have to go back to home and go to lesson 1 reflection feedback.
Yep, and that will take you straight here.
Nick, is that good for you? Like I said, I'll get excited because this is stuff I'm still learning. So, cool. That's pretty much all I had to talk about for Canvas. Again, if you have any questions or trouble, Gretchen and the Dev Lab have used this the most in setup and discovering things. So just email agronwebdev@iastate.edu, and Gretchen and her team watch that email. And make sure, and so.
Let us know what class you're in and you're having trouble with. But also, if Dawn can click on the help menu on the left.
Yep. Oh, I like the help menu. It's very, very good, actually.
It is. It's fantastic. There's a lot of support available for Canvas. So you can chat with Canvas support. There's also the My Canvas student at ISU, and I know that Dawn has shared that link with everyone already, but there are a lot of questions answered in that sample course if you want to go there to look for things. Mm-hmm. There's phone options for getting help as well.
And I have been using, I'm hoping the My Canvas student also has the external links straight to Canvas that have FAQs. I use those a lot in trying to get my head around this demonstration.
Down 4 links. Search the Canvas guides. That's the one you're looking for.
Yeah, that's a fantastic. That one is really, really awesome. So if you're a student, yeah, exactly. I found a lot of information here yesterday. So they're very thorough. They give screenshots. I am very, very impressed with this. So the help button is actually very helpful.
Thanks, Nick.
Nate says, can you do a mock assignment submission?
Yes.
Well, we kind of did that with the reflection, and I don't think the assignment's much different, is it?
A lot of the classes do assignments with a file upload. You could do that in the Sandbox course that we have.
All right, let me open that. So we have what's called a Sandbox course. It's just for practice. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. Where'd it go?
Courses.
Oh, sorry.
Go to all courses.
It's disappeared now.
Click your very bottom all courses link.
Oh, huh.
It's not tied to a semester, and so it's treated a little bit differently. I think it's down.
Sorry, people.
Whoops, right there.
Sandbox. Okay. All right, so here is our practice modules, like I showed you. I'm just going to do an assignment. So this would be, this is Agronomy 502. This is just a copy. Again, they give you maps and things to download. Maybe this isn't a good example.
Not available.
Okay, so let's try again.
There are some guides on Canvas that walk you through it. That may be our best bet right now because all of these will be past due dates. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Oh, sure. Again, it's going to be a lot like you click on the assignment link, just like in the modules. You click on the assignment link, a text box, that text box will open, and you should have options to attach a document or copy and paste into the text box like I did for the discussion or the reflection. Nick says, if you sign on tab at the master site,
Let's see that. I will get that fixed.
The sign-ons tab, you're saying that that one not listed as an option? Oh, okay. It is an option on the Iowa State homepage. Yeah. Yeah, I think Nate, you're going to be okay with attaching files. You will have options to browse your computer and do that. I think that's all I had for Canvas. And I really do love those Canvas guides. They didn't have anything like that for Blackboard. We were pretty much guessing. And these are pretty fantastic. So I think all of us are pretty tickled with Canvas. All right, so this is where we take a bit of a breather, and I want to talk about course materials now. For those of you that have been in the program for a while, I'm not going to talk about anything new. So you're welcome to stay as a refresher, or you're welcome to help me explain some things since you use it more than I do. But I'd like to go to course materials now. I'm going to shut a bunch of these Canvas things. So the email that I sent yesterday, I just got the Canvas message that I sent Gretchen a message. I got a notification that I just sent Gretchen a message. So there is a little bit of a delay. So in the email I sent to you yesterday, I wanted you to start with the Access Courses page. That way you can find all the links for your course. I would bookmark this if you wanted to. Or some people, once they get started, they bookmark their course pages, their course homepages or whatever. I'm going to again start with 501. Here are the links. The course information will take you to the Brenton Center website. That is the College of Ag hub for distance ed. That's just general information. This icon stays open all the time, so this will give you information about, that will send you to the home page for that class, and you can get information about it for any semester that you're interested, or it's for the most current semester. This is the course introduction and the syllabus. You can access this at any time. You can see that usually you'll only get the introduction. You can see that I'm logged in and you see all the lesson modules. The nice thing about the authentication with this system and Canvas is once you're logged into one, you're logged into the other because it's the same. They just all authenticate from the same spot. So that's kind of nice that you don't have to do that extra login like we used to have to do. Typically, you'd only find the introduction. If for someone who's just kicking tires and looking at classes, they can see what the syllabus is. But also, this is the actual course material link that will get you beyond the introduction if you're actually registered for a class. And this should actually be the Canvas icon, but if you click it, the links have been updated. Just that I'm going to ask Gretchen to update the icon. You got it in the legend, but not the.
Sorry.
That's all right. We figured it out. As long as it goes to Canvas, that's great. All right. So, I wanted to do an overview of what you find when you are in the course materials. So I'm going to close all this. I'm going to do the introduction. So again, when I sent you the email and in Canvas on the home page, it tells you to go to the syllabus in the course materials, and this is where you're going to find it. So this will show you a little bit about navigation in the course materials. There's an arrow on the right, upper right, and the bottom right will tell you what section is next. The upper right is just a general page forward and page back. Please go through your course introduction. Some of it will give you a little taste of the course content. It will give you grading expectations, which are very important because we don't want you to get to the end of the semester and have you confused about how things were graded. And we did have some of that last semester where students were like, wait, I don't like my grade. And then we had to say, well, according to the syllabus, this is how your grades were calculated. So always, always, always read the introduction. It has policies, it has procedures, it has expectations. And do it for every class because every class is just a little bit different. So you're going to see that there are some, I'm going to get my agenda here just so that I remember what I'm supposed to talk about. Okay, so the course dashboard again is, I want to get myself structured here. Course dashboard again is the home page. You're going to find links, the same links that you found on the Access Courses page. Course information, the introduction, the lesson modules, and a link to Canvas. You're going to find a link to Canvas here. You're going to find a link to Canvas up here from the course materials as well. So you're going to find syllabus also up on the upper menu. And then we do have some things broken down into readings and activities and assignments. Now, these are going to be, I recommend going to these when you've been through a couple lessons and you want to go back to refer something. That way you can choose which lesson. If you're just starting out, I recommend using the lesson modules on the left side so that you go back to each lesson. This is where you should go individually, because the readings, the activities, and the assignments are actually hosted within the modules. So you can always go back and the upper links are the ones that you can use to refer back to something that you've already seen, if you remember where it is. You're going to see activity icons on the left-hand side. You see these are green right here. Anything that's highlighted in green is a vocabulary item. And also, this also up on the upper menu is the glossary. So the glossary has every term from every class that you ever want to know with a search feature in order to look for what you want. However, that is all compiled from every term that is highlighted in green in your course materials for any course that you have. So if you click a course material, a highlighted green word, that will be the definition. So you're going to get your glossary terms as you go along. Anything highlighted in red will refer, you can click on and it will refer to a different lesson. So it will take you to a different place. And whether it be a different place in the same course or to a different lesson in a different class. I'm going to just navigate through some of these pages to show you some of the other icons. You see there's all green ones here. There are a lot of interactive activities built into the course materials, so you're not just doing a ton of reading. What you're going to find other things with the orange the orange tab with the arrow, they're going to be study questions. These are just things for like drag and drops. They're interactive. Again, I'm totally going to guess. And then you can check your answer. These are things that you can repeat over and over. They're basically just helping you with comprehension of the terms that you're practicing. They're not graded. They're basically to help you process what you're learning. If you see a yellowish tab with a magnifying glass, you should find a term that is highlighted in yellow. And this is probably, I think, an FYI, or for your information. It will give you additional information for what you're learning. Again, here's another study question. So there's one more I want to show you. And again, so here's a study question in which you have to answer a question. So then you just need to type your answer here. And you can't just go straight to the show answer button unless you type something in. And we do have small videos. There's just a lot of different
There
things.
is a daily rhythm in water
that
potential
show
gradient.
that will help you. And it's not, the course materials are not all reading. So I've talked about activity. Those are the activities. Now assignments and discussion topics are listed in here. So you're not having to use, Canvas is just your landing spot to submit, but you will find within your lesson where those fit. I want to find, because sometimes there's not just a page for graded work in the lesson. The discussion topics are usually built within there, and I will show you what I mean. Excuse me. So again, here is a yellow tab with yellow highlighted word, and so these are just extra things that help the text of the lesson. So what I'm looking for is where they built in lesson 1, more study questions. So make sure you give yourself enough time when you sit down and do your course materials to do those things. You could, some people like to read through it all and then go back and do the activities. Some people like to do them as they go through. It's all in the way you prefer to study. Again, I'm looking for the discussion topic. Sorry, the air in my office is dry. So, and here's another one called Try This. It's another activity. And again, it's a drag and drop, similar to what I showed you before. Oop. I'm just not doing so well today, but that's okay. Well, anyway, study question, try this. I like the try thises because there. So here's discussion topic 1.1. It is put in the lesson in an appropriate spot because that is it's built in there from the topic that you're studying within the lesson. Now, again, if you will go through the whole lesson and you want to go back to it, that's when you can use the readings or activities or assignments links and then choose it by lesson. But the first time through, I think you need to see where it is within context of your course materials. So this is where your discussion topic is. It is an orange icon, orange tab with looks like a sheet of paper with a dog ear on it. That will get your attention that is something that you need to submit for grading. And then there's always a link to Canvas in there as well. So that will take you straight to Canvas. And like I said, if you're logged into both, it's very easy. It won't take you to the exact spot in your class, but it will take you to your dashboard. Okay. Any questions? I'm kind of getting lost in my explanation here. No questions yet. So I'm just going to scroll to the end of this page. Summary. So at the end of your lesson, you usually find the reflection question. If you're in a different class, 502 or 503, you're going to find assignments here as well. I can go to 502. I'll show you. And again, once you're logged into one, you stay logged in. You can log, well, I guess maybe not. So I'll have to log, well, you got to click the login link, but you don't actually have to log in if you're logged into either Canvas or a different class. So here's lesson 1 for Agronomy 502. One thing I didn't talk about, Agronomy 501 does not have books. All course materials are online. You will find in other classes that there are readings from the books that we've asked you to buy. So you'll always find at the beginning of each lesson the readings for that lesson at the beginning. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm just going to try to find the assignment. I'm guessing it's going to be at the end. Yep. So in the summary, I think you're going to find, at least in 502, you're going to find assignments and discussion topics hosted together. So that's pretty much it for the lesson modules. Again, Gretchen's used that term just so that it's similar to what Canvas terminology. And I want to talk a little bit. I've showed you navigation. A couple of the other things up at the top, we talk about another link to Canvas. That there is a calculator. Sorry, evidently my Flash player is not enabled, but this is, oops, what the heck? Okay, so let's try that again. This is a conversion calculator. You can do a regular pressure. There's all kinds of things that you want to measure or whatever. So this is a really cool tool if you need it. And we have developed and recently updated a writing guide. So there's a link to the writing guide in every class because now you're going to be doing writing for every single class. At some courses you may have projects and papers. Sometimes it's just an assignment where you think that you may need help with something. So the writing guide, it was specifically developed for our program, and We do have a writing consultant that actually went through and updated it, so it's very current. So I highly recommend just perusing some of that. And there are some activities related to plagiarism and proper citation and those kinds of things as well. So it's a very, very wonderful tool for our students. A note about lesson PDFs. When Gretchen and her team are done updating course materials, they will print PDFs of each lesson. A lot of students still like to print them off and put them in a binder and make notes and highlight. Again, it's all in the way you like to study. So these are, you will find those in every class. And they are updated each semester along with the course materials. Now, the PDFs are not interactive. The interactives that you saw with the drag and drops, we won't be able to use those. I think the activities and things are listed at the end. You can use them as reference, but or maybe just to remember where they are in what activity is where in the course materials, but you can't actually utilize the interactives when you have the PDF. I think that's all I wanted to say about course materials. Gretchen, do you have anything to add?
I don't. I think you covered it all.
I think so. I'm getting better at it.
Well, we've got it figured out now.
Yeah. So if you have any questions at all, this is where I'd like to tell students that number one, it's very important to communicate with your instructor. We do have expectations about timely submission of assignments and posting your discussion topic early in the lesson. But if you were to happen to have a crazy week at work or you got really sick, and believe me, people here in Agronomy Hall have been really, really sick and not here at work. So if something happens that you will not get something in on time, make sure to let your instructor know what's going on. Don't let it snowball into the next week and say, oh no, I'll get caught up. And then the next week goes by and you're still not caught up. Let your instructor know at the time or as soon as possible, as soon as it's feasible after something happens, to let them know what's going on. Some instructors consider it your responsibility to let them know, and they will just wait to hear from you. Other instructors will check on you and say, hey, you haven't submitted DT 2.1. Is there anything going on? So each class you take will be a little bit different. But we can help you if we know what's happening. We can't help you if it's finals week and you haven't participated in the class since the midterm. And things like that do happen. People get sick, people have deaths in the family, people just, lose their jobs, that kind of thing. So communication is key with your instructor and also my office. Sometimes when instructors don't hear from you, then they'll ask me if I've heard anything, and then I will email you and say, are you okay? That kind of thing. So we don't want you to feel like you're on your own. And if you have any questions at all, just email. About the program in general, you can email me at any time, same as all through the application and admission process. I am your advisor throughout the program. Again, if it's a technical, this is what I need to add, the feedback button. So I'm glad I was rambling because otherwise I would have forgot. So if you have an issue with course materials, you can email agroundwebdev@istate.edu, but also if it happens to be a weekend or it's not a super you're functional but this needs to be addressed, down on the lower right side of every course page is the feedback button. So I'm going to open this up. The nice thing about the feedback button is you don't have to describe exactly what page you're on, because if you send a message from this page, I'm just going to do testing, I'm just going to say testing, because there's not actually anything wrong with this page. If you say send feedback, then Gretchen and her group have a feedback system, and they check that daily, and they will get the URL of the exact page that you're talking about. So you don't have to like explain yourself. The send feedback button is pretty fantastic. So be specific about the problem though, like saying that I see a blank space, or these words are spelled wrong, or any functional thing that you find that's not working, like a video won't play, or you can't drag and drop, or things like that. I'm glad I remembered that, because that's an important thing. That helps keep us know, that helps keep things going, and hopefully people catch it, we can fix it before other students find it. Let's see. Lisa had a nice comment about traveling last semester, and oh, good idea, Lisa, about talking, letting your group members know that you wouldn't be available either. Communication is extremely important. Those of you that are, do you have any other questions? Well, with that, I think I'm done. Again, email me anytime if you have questions. Good luck with your semester, and have a great day, because I know you're going to be doing homework.
Goodbye. Have a great day.
Bye.